Now, this weekend's star-studded Venice wedding of the multi-billionaire Amazon founder Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez continuing to really galvanise activist groups, people in the Italian city protesting as they see it as a sign of the growing disparity between the haves and the have-nots, as well as a disregard of the city's residents. Well, we're going to talk to our correspondent in Rome, Seema Gupta now. Seema, the protesters, they're united, aren't they, under the No Space for Bezos banner?
Exactly. I mean, it's a grouping of different protest groups, people who have been protesting in the past to call for more affordable housing in Venice, whether they're against those massive cruise ships coming into Venice, as well as university groups. And they chose this banner, No Space for Bezos, a play, if you like, on, of course, Jeff Bezos's Blue Origin space tourism venture. So these posters of Bezos's head on top of a rocket blasting into space. Now, they came together ever since it was announced that this wedding was going to be happening in Venice earlier this year. But now, of course, we're coming up to the big day itself. Lots of secrecy as to what's going to be happening. But local reports say it's expected to start the events on Thursday and run up all the way till Saturday. And what the protesters say is that having an event like this in the city is reducing Venice to simply a playground for the rich. And the protesters believe right now that they actually have some kind of victories, because originally the wedding reception was supposed to be held at a 16th century building right in the city centre. But the protesters had said they were going to block all the canals leading to that building with inflatable crocodiles. And ever since that was announced, it seems like the venue now has been shifted to the Arsenale in Venice, which is essentially a complex of shipyards that is surrounded by fortified walls. Others have suggested, though, that the change of venues because of security concerns. One of the wedding guests is expected to be Ivanka Trump. Now, that's Donald Trump's daughter, of course, and they're concerned about security. But the protesters believe that it's because of their threat to block those canals. Now, there were also other protests by Greenpeace, as well as another British group known as Everyone Hates Elon. And they unfurled a massive banner in Piazza San Marco, that famous St. Mark's Square in Venice, saying that if you can rent Venice for your wedding, you can pay more tax. Of course, this kind of protest really about social and climate injustice when you have such a big event by a man who is criticized for his ties with Donald Trump, as well as not having a particularly good record at Amazon, his company, particularly on workers' rights. The mayor of Venice, however, believes that having such an event will really put Venice on the global stage, and he's bringing riches to the city.
Seema, it comes as well, of course, doesn't it, as the city's really continuing to suffer. It's a story that we've heard about for several years now here on France 24 from that tourist influx.
Yes, exactly. I mean, the city's residents believe that everything is being targeted towards tourism, and very little is actually being done to deal with some of the problems facing the residents, such as affordable housing, as well as investment into services. Instead, it's all about pushing tourism. And in fact, a few years ago, they actually put in place that day trippers tax, a tax for people who just come to Venice for a day. The idea being that you pay that amount of money, and that will perhaps make it more difficult and maybe put off some day trippers from making that trip to Venice. But it hasn't actually worked. The number of tourists continue. It's increased the coffers of the city, but hasn't actually increased the services, is what a lot of the residents say. And they said, in fact, it just reinforces the image of Venice as a theme park. You pay an entry fee to come inside. And the residents are really frustrated about this issue.